So the question that I have is, what will you do in order to meet the socioeconomic goals? For instance, I'm a service disabled, veteran-owned, economically disadvantaged, Hispanic owned company, like others here on the call. And there's so many goals that are set every year for different levels, right? So SGB, they all have different percentages that you all have to meet. However, we went into a lot of competition, as Carmen mentioned, that you'll have large companies competing, hiding behind small businesses. And then when you have companies that have the good experience and are in Montgomery County, we don't get the business. So what are you going to do to help leverage or to help meet small businesses, help meet those goals?
Thank you, Jennifer. It's great to see you again. And I remember that roundtable that we had 4 years ago. So it's good to see you. So so on the procurement front, so a couple things that I would suggest. One, that we have to make sure that there's no exceptions for the prime contractor. So one of the things that's really that I've seen is, if there's a prime contractor that needs to, let's say, have 10% for a sub, we have an exception. And we actually had an event last week, and there was a woman who runs the franchise Signorama, and it was interesting. She has a minority-owned business. She has a location in Montgomery County and a location in DC. And she was saying how the DC business thrives because there's no exceptions. Whereas in Montgomery County, there are exceptions. And in fact, in DC, if someone's looking for an exception so they don't have to provide business to a minority-owned business, they actually have to put an ad in the newspaper saying, we can't find a company do this. So they really kind of shame everybody. So I'd say no exception policy. Two, I would challenge what our goals are, because the goals that we set are always percentages, 23%, 26%, 15%. And Jennifer, I can't figure out what the numerator is and what the denominator is. It's very confusing. And then everybody wants to do a victory lap. Like I heard someone say recently, we're up to 26% from 23%. I'm like, of what? Of $6 billion, of our $6 billion budget? No. So it's like, it's, of course, you probably know this, right? It's of eligible contracts that they define by eligible, so as county executive, I'm going to set a dollar amount so that it's clear, $500 million, $200 million, and then we can measure it to that goal. But I think really the thing that kind of gets to the crux of your question is we've almost got to reverse engineer procurement so that when we look at where the county is spending our money and say, okay, here's how we're spending our money. We have no Latino businesses in IT or whatever, or marketing, whatever and actually kind of be proactive so that we can attract those businesses. And then when I was in business, I worked with procurement all across the country, and I saw good procurement and bad procurement. And one of the attributes of good procurement is, I call it the debrief session, right? And it's either after a company loses, or it could be before you bid. So that and it's the in this case, Montgomery County government walking the contractors through. Here are the requirements. This is what we need. So we need you to have a 24/7 call center. We need that, whatever it is, so that you can either be more successful in winning the contract, or if you lose, there should be a playbook so that you can win again. And so those are three things that I would do.